and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the one who makes it all possible, our very own first name agent,
Phil Perich.
That's the one. Oh, Philip. Think of all the great Philips in pop cultural history. You have Philip J. Fry, Phil Coulson. And that's enough, man. That's two. Those are really great ones. There are more Phils, I'm sure, And, of course, when Kermit the Frog had amnesia, he's in Muppets Take Manhattan. He said his name was Philip Phil.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. I remember these things. I never forget anything.
Of course.
It's a blessing and a curse, just like Captain America, man.
Ah!
Every life he's taken haunts him forever.
So
anyway,
where do you want to start? You're talking about disappointments and
so here's the thing, Phil. This is the whole of it. We come up with the best ideas ever. We come up with perfection. And reality can never, ever be as good as perfection. And I say this because as the whole Avengers Infinity War starts to roll towards us.
1 week.
One interminable week. It's like they're trying to give us, they're revealing more, and nothing sounds good. Nothing is the idea that we came up with, that you came up with in your head, Phil. Nothing is as good as what Phil has already given us. And now Avengers is ruined, because they did not hire Phil Perich to come up with how to make this movie happen.
Well, I didn't hear the clip, but supposedly isn't Dinklage one of Thanos' guys? But they heard him say 2 words. Are we sure it was Dinklage though? From those 2 words?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, here's going to tell you. Here's honestly, and this is what I think I think they're literally trolling us. That they decided to do this thing, because here's the thing: there was no fanfare behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly everyone's saying, "Oh, that sounds like Dinklage." And you know what that tells me? They had Dinklage say those lines. It's a completely different guy playing Corvus Glaive in the film, and they had Dinklage read "I can't," just because they thought it would be funny to troll us, Phil. To troll us, to hurt us. You and me personally. To hurt us.
As much as I wanted Mephisto, I was like, oh, we're probably thinking too grandiose. They're probably not going to go there, at least not yet. But I mean, if
not yet, Phil. If it's the third of the 4 films they're going to do. If not now, when?
Maybe the next one. I don't know. But well, I mean, I see all these articles where they're saying, that Disney might be, or somebody might be interested in, or was it the Russos? They were saying might be interested once they get all the Fox characters about doing Secret Wars.
Yeah, I mean, sure, great, fine. That's like, 2-3 movies from now.
Or,
Let's focus on what we're doing today. And not for nothing, you can have the Beyonder in after you do Mephisto. The Beyonder came after Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest here. The Beyonder was actually the biggest of big bads that came in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, we've already done Galactus. We've already done Mephisto. We've got, Infinity what? I'm sorry, I'm shouting too loud. I'm impassioned, Phil. He's moving. Okay. For you on the podcast, he's moving his headphones away from his ears, which maybe you guys are too right now.
But no, I mean, I don't know if they're afraid, if they'd ever be afraid to use Mephisto, just because there's certain parts of our society that might be like, it's too satanic, and
So it's not like he's the good guy.
Well, you know, and again, I mean, Disney wants to sell T-shirts and toys.
I know. And, oh yeah, because you know, T-shirts with the devil on them have never sold.
Yeah, well, I mean, convince middle America about that too.
I think middle America are the people who are buying a lot of heavy metal rock.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here. They're not listening to smooth jazz in middle America.
Either. Well, that or country.
Well, yeah, but hey, rock country, man.
Yeah. But anyway, my point was, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure Dinklage probably isn't Mephisto, but I don't think he's Corvus, you know, who gives a poop anyway. Because it's like, if that's who he eventually, if who he's going to be, why didn't they announce it a month ago or 2 months ago?
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's why I don't think he's Corvus Glaive. Because first off, Corvus Glaive isn't that interesting. Not for nothing, Black Order, we love you. You're a cannon fodder. You're literally there to get your butt kicked by Black Widow.
And that character's
what that scene is.
And that character's probably gonna have like 2 or 3 lines. It's like, are you really gonna bring in a Dinklage for a guy for 2 or 3 lines?
Yeah, especially not. Not Dinklage. Not. This is not the. I don't. And not for nothing, I don't think Dinklage would take that role. Remember, Dinklage has been, Trask. Yeah. Dinklage has been in a Marvel film. Dinklage has done this before. He's not going to come back to it for a cameo.
Plus, in a movie where you're paying like all these like high earth-shattering salaries, Robert Downey Jr. Are you really going to bring in a Peter Dinklage, who I'm sure commands a good amount these days for like just on a throwaway character? Well, not a throwaway character, but you know. Something on that scale, it'd be something bigger.
Let me put it this way: I am sure he is the highest paid short actor in Hollywood, next to Tom Cruise. It's still, I mean, after Tom Cruise, who's also a short actor. You know, I don't know who's taller between Dinklage and Cruise. That is a common. It's like Bruce McCullough, man. You know, they do a lot with camera angles. That's all I'm saying. That's a very obscure reference there, but don't worry about it, kids. Go back and watch your Canadian television. You'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, here's my point. That, yeah, I don't think they're going to bring in... Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to say Dinklage wouldn't do Corvus Glaive for fun. You know? I just don't know what the point of bringing in Corvus Glaive or bringing in Dinklage to be Corvus Glaive here is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because if nothing else, Marvel might want to do something more interesting with Peter Dinklage. Exactly. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, it's
unless they, you know, if he's just doing the voice, you know, if the character is going to be like, you know, one of these CGI characters and he just does the voice, so they're like, oh, well, we can bring him in physically as another character later on down the road.
I mean, they could, but like I said, you know what? Here's an even better twist for you. What if Corvus Glaive is actually Mephisto?
No, or secretly another character.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we don't know exactly what.
Oh, I know I keep throwing out names of who Dinklage could be, but I mean, here's another theory. But maybe he's someone else in disguise. But I mean, there's a rumor. I mean, we were just typing about this a little bit ago about, I guess, there's a rumor that they've cast a teenage actress to play an teenage Cassie Lang in Avengers 4.
Teenage Cassie Lang, no one cares about that.
Yeah, no, but I heard that
they cast an older Cassie Lang.
Or yeah.
I said, oh, that's interesting.
But
you know, freaking teenage Cassie Lang, who cares?
Well,
who cares about you, Stature? You're not a cool character. Stinger was awesome. Stinger is the only character you should be. Glad you finally became Stinger, and we got over this whole stature nonsense.
So the new theory is the Avengers 4 is going to be like some kind of time travel thing, which will probably be from the Time Stone. But what if whether it's a part of due to the Time Stone or not? What if Dinklage is secretly in disguise Kang the Conqueror.
That would be neat. That would be neat. We don't know. I mean, here's the thing about Kang. We really don't know the rights on Kang.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because this is this thing when you, and here's what I'm going to tell you. You have a far bigger possibility of bringing in Kang into the Marvel Cinematic Universe than the FF as part of the last 2 Avengers films.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Steve Rogers, Chris Evans has already shot Avengers 4.
Oh, I think they all have, haven't they?
Yeah, it's all in the can.
Yeah. Yes, they filmed it all at once. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing from the potential Fox deal that is going to be in Avengers 4. But
unless they threw like an end credit scene or something.
Well, they could shoot that after the fact, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But that's, you know.
Yeah.
That's not going to be Dinklage. But the one exception could be Kang the Conqueror. Because there are characters, and Marvel has said this, where there is a joint understanding that these are universal characters. And what they've said is that they haven't been able to use Kang because Rama Tut is in the canon of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but he first appeared as Kang in Avengers, though. So yes, I wonder.
Exactly. It's a very circular.
I just wonder if.
For you,
I just wonder if. I know. I just wonder if the legal thing is like, yeah, you can use Kang, but you can't mention Rama Tut. You know, something weird. Well,
what it comes down to is if they're really, really cozy, and this is the thing. This is the Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where they basically negotiated both of them, and then they said, okay, and you're going to have Quicksilver because we're going to kill him off, and we're going to get Scarlet Witch.
Well, and the other thing, too, I mean, it's not like the Kang would be like the X-Men or the Fantastic Four. If they wanted to use Kang, would Fox really sue them at this point when Disney's about to dump a boatload of money on top of them?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Basically, the one thing you could get away with is right now they could have that understanding about Kang.
Yeah.
In the last 2 Avengers films,
a peace offering during the negotiations.
Exactly. You could that is an actual possibility. It's an interesting possibility. Again, I don't know if Dinklage is your Kang.
You don't think they play him as like the time traveling warlord?
Because and the reason why. I mean, unless you're going to play him as a short person, which you can do.
Yeah, why not?
Napoleon was short.
Have him. You could have him half the time sitting in like some hover chair or something, or.
Well, you know, the minute you talk about hover chair, you know what everyone starts thinking about as a role for Dinklage?
What?
Who has a hover chair?
Not Xavier.
No.
MODOK! Oh, MODOK, yeah. Well,
Dinklage MODOK. And honestly, if you're going to pay Dinklage for a cameo, Dinklage MODOK is the one we want.
How funny would that be if they like CGI'd him so it looks like him, but his head's like bigger than every other character in the room?
Not for nothing, Phil. They did say, oh, you'll recognize Dinklage when you see or hear him.
Yes!
You know? And so I could absolutely see MODOK. Here's what I could see. I could see a 5-minute opening scene of Advanced Idea Mechanics coming in, and Tony Stark having to do some mop-up work, and then out from the shadows comes, I am MODOK, a mechanism or mecha organic creature designed for killing.
That would be awesome. But again, do you waste Dinklage on like a 5 or 10 minute gag though?
Maybe. Honestly,
unless he's pulling double duty, he does MODOK and then he does the voice of Corvus.
Well, you know, here's what I'm gonna say. I can totally see a gag like that. Because everyone says you can never do MODOK. MODOK is impossible. Mm-hmm. And every time people tell someone at Marvel Studios it's impossible, they say, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see how impossible it really is. It's the exact opposite of what happens when someone tells DC you can't make a good movie. And DC says,
and they prove them right.
DC says, well, I guess you're right, but here's Superman. He's an icon. You guys pay for icons, right? But anyway, that's enough hating on DC. But no, here's what I'm going to tell you. If they're going to do that as our Dinklage cameo, and Dinklage is just a cameo, or just to get, or even, oh, here's your fun bit. Here's your fun bit. You do bring MODOK back. But after he's defeated, Tony Stark has to go to him, and he's like, what's his name? Hannibal Lecter in the jail cell.
Ouch.
And he goes, I am MODOK, the super genius. Oh, your pathetic little minds need me to help you defeat Thanos.
or like I said to you the other day, it's like, they could introduce him here and he could show up later in other movies. What if like it looks exactly like him, but it's just his head and it's green? What if he's like the Kree Supreme Intelligence?
Well, that would be fantastic. See, and again, Dinklage as the Kree Supreme Intelligence would be interesting.
I mean, he could do an interesting voice. He could show up later in like Captain Marvel.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing about the Kree. Yeah. Because the Kree have been bad guys. But the Kree were always our good guys because the Krees were fighting the Skrulls, who were already established as bad guys. Mm-hmm. But because we didn't get the Skrulls as bad guys
yet.
When we brought in aliens when we brought in the aliens and we wanted a good alien things, we brought in the Kree, and the Kree as this, conqueror race was great, but the Skrulls are better as a villain. And although we have certainly had a lot of problems with the Skrulls the Kree throughout the years, they've always been, if nothing else, the Kree are to the Marvel Universe what the Soviet Union was to America in World War II. They're not in any way a group of people that we agree with, but the fact of the matter is they're willing to help us fight the space Nazis.
The enemy of my enemy.
Exactly. And to have Dinklage as the leader of the enemy of our enemy would be great, especially if you have this idea that the Kree want to battle Thanos too.
We're
all endangered from Thanos.
Well, here's my thought. I was thinking the other day, maybe we get this Supreme Intelligence in the Kree because, we get some scenes with the Supreme Intelligence, but then at the end of this movie, like they still haven't said what Avengers 4 is, and I think they said they're not even going to announce it the day Infinity War hits. They're going to let it sit a little bit before they announce it. But I was just wondering if we get the Kree, the Supreme Intelligence, and then at the end of Infinity War, Thanos tells them, he's like, I was coming after the Infinity Stones because I needed to save the galaxy from this war. Boom, Avengers 4, Kree Skrull War.
Well, actually,
and you get like the beginnings of some of this stuff in Captain Marvel.
Here's what I'm going to say, and we're going to get to what I'm most mad about in a few minutes. But Thanos could actually be a good guy in this. Because there's an aspect of this story which is that, basically Thanos, because they've given us Thanos's MCU origin, which is that his planet was dying of overpopulation, and he basically said, well, the smartest thing to do would be to randomly select people and have half of our population culled. And because if it's random, then nobody gets to live just because they were rich or powerful. They, but everyone, we will have a fully random lottery. Half of our planet will die, and the rest of our planet will get to live, and we can survive as a society.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if any of these deaths are going to stick in this movie, because they are, even in the Infinity Gauntlet miniseries, when he got the gauntlet, the first thing he did was snap his fingers and make half the population of the universe disappear, and then everyone was restored even after he killed like most of the heroes.
But what I'm saying is, I think that there's actually a purpose in this. I think the idea is that Thanos is deciding that he has to kill half the universe. Not because
he worships death, but
because he realizes that unless we do this thing, this other worse thing is going to happen, which is the death of all things.
Maybe an incursion.
Maybe. Maybe. They still own the Beyonders. Marvel has the Beyonders, and that's why we go back to that original idea, Peter Dinklage Beyonder. The Beyonder is coming.
Yes.
Or the Elders of the Universe. That's an interesting thing that no one is talking about. We have 2 Elders already introduced. You had mentioned they've introduced the Champion on Guardians of the Galaxy recently, the cartoon series.
Yes, just this last Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, and the idea is that the Elders of the Universe are the anathema to order. Because they are beings that, through cruelty and guile, have evaded death, allowed themselves to live while everything else died.
Maybe that's the big misdirect, is like, we get this whole backstory on Thanos about how, decreasing populations and stuff. And they're like, oh no, he's going to kill like half the, even Gamora tells him he's going to kill half the universe and stuff. But then at the end, they reveal, Thanos is like, no, I needed all the Infinity Stones to stop the Elders of the Universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely a possibility, or possibly that the Elders of the Universe come to aid the Avengers, and then in the end,
they double cross them.
They double cross them, steal the stones, and say, "Now, brothers, now we can truly live forever." And and honestly, Dinklage as an elder would be fantastic. He doesn't have to be the champion, and it might be a little silly to have him be the champion. Although it might be cool to have him be the champion. I don't know, and honestly, I don't know how ripped Dinklage is.
Oh, you know how if he's not
the champion, people can get really ripped, but I don't know if Dinklage is particularly ripped.
I mean, they can always CGI him too, but who would be awesome if he was shaved his head and they had him as the Contemplator.
Well, yeah, I was thinking he'd be a fantastic Contemplator too. And what's great about the Contemplator is that he's all zen and philosophical, but he's just as evil as all the others.
Yes, but he does. But he doesn't get all, he's just like,
he's like, yes, but that is the structure of the universe.
Yes, I must destroy you all now.
Yeah, well, exactly. And so the idea or the Gardener might be a good one for him too. Give him a big old beard.
Oh, he can mess with Groot like it's going on in Infinity Countdown now.
Exactly.
Groot, yes.
Reset him to his factory settings.
Yes.
Now I must destroy you all.
Groot speak whole sentences just in the third person.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, of course, because don't all supervillains do that? Doom must. None must stand before Doom. None must stand before Groot.
No.
And. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things because see, you're making me happy again, Phil. You're getting me into my theories. But the sad truth is, Phil, next week, 1 week and 1 day from now, because we're doing Friday, I'll watch it Saturday. All this joy and happiness is going to come crashing down.
Yeah,
under the crushing wheel.
Even if none of our theories come to pass, you're going to be happy with this movie. I mean, there might be stuff that angers you, but I mean, you'll, for the most part, be happy about this movie.
I've said this before, I've said it again, is that one of my favorite things about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that all of my theories are wrong, and I'm just as happy with the results. Because it is something I didn't see coming.
When it comes to live action superhero entertainment in our current world, who does it better than the MCU?
Exactly. Deadpool only does well because he breaks the fourth wall, because he's actively making fun of everyone while he's doing it.
Should we jump to some Deadpool? Because I thought you said you were the one to talk some Deadpool.
Well, I do want to talk Deadpool too, but actually I don't have a lot for Deadpool because that's a whole month away. Goodness, Phil. But one thing I did want to talk about was the fact that apparently, and this was like my big thing about disappointment, is that the events of Ant-Man and Wasp take place before Infinity War.
They have confirmed that?
Well, okay, again, rumors.
Okay.
But it's said, no, that has been confirmed. It has been confirmed that the plot line takes place after the events of Civil War.
After Civil War.
Yeah. So basically, just like so, it's basically contemporary with Black Panther.
Okay. Yeah.
The only problem is that it's taking place after Infinity War. So it's like the timeline. So basically, after we see Infinity War, we're going to go back in time for Ant-Man and Wasp.
So after Civil War, but before Infinity War.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, which is just weird and annoying. Although, not for nothing, fair cop. That's exactly how comic books are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because, as Peter David told us, they don't tell him anything. So it's like, I don't know, they told me if Las Vegas was going to be destroyed, I didn't think it would actually blow up the whole city. Anyway, but yeah. So that's annoying to me because I really thought that there was going to be this tie-in with the quantum realm, and I was hoping it was almost going to be like a Back to the Future 3 kind of thing, where it's like Back to the Future, then the second one, and then the third one, and it's like, even though it's a middle movie, but it's going to come right on the heels. You're going to be like, oh, this all ties together.
Well, maybe they can't because maybe something happens to Ant-Man that I don't know if they want to show all their cards in a movie other than an Avengers movie, but maybe.
But here's the thing: if they kill Ant-Man,
well, no, maybe they kill him. Maybe time traveling.
Yeah, but whatever they're doing with Ant-Man, here's the thing: whatever they do with Ant-Man in wait, stop. We've seen artwork for the Wasp in Infinity Wars stuff. We haven't seen anything for Ant-Man yet. What if Ant-Man doesn't make it out of Ant-Man?
I don't know. I thought they confirmed he was there, but
no. Well, no. There've been all these rumors and innuendo, and someone says that there's what looks like a guy on the side of Thanos' gauntlet, but they've actually not had any Ant-Man stuff for Avengers Infinity War. And it could be that if they do like, mind stuff with Wasp, maybe she sees Ant-Man and they don't reveal it. But then maybe here's what I'm gonna say.
I think if they kill him, they're gonna kill him in one of the Avengers movies.
Oh, I didn't say they kill him.
And I think the only reason Ant-Man and the Wasp doesn't take place after Infinity War, maybe there's no time between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4. Maybe it's just like back to back one huge movie. No time passes between the two movies.
Well, yeah, but that's their scheduling problem. Well, here's what I'm going to say though. In that case, then they should have put Ant-Man before Avengers.
Yeah, but they always like to put it in that like
I know
May time slot. Yeah.
I know they basically they kind of screwed their own pooch on this. Is basically what it is. Is I think that maybe they were like, oh well, we don't want to bump Black Panther. We're going to put Black Panther in February. What they should have done, should have really gambled it. February, March, April.
That would have been great, but
every other studio in the world would hate Marvel at that point. But if you did Black Panther, Ant-Man, Infinity War, you would have, and then Marvel could just say, we're just gonna sit back here now.
But
the rest of the year.
Yeah, but then would you be shooting yourself in the foot though too? Because Black Panther might have not stayed at #1 as long. You might have been taking some business from them.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Ant-Man and the Wasp wouldn't have had as much time to do its own thing before Infinity War hit, especially since they moved it up a week.
And certainly that's the secondary argument. But the problem is that when you go back, basically, going back on Ant-Man is either going to kill Ant-Man. Financially, because we're already going to know what happens because we've seen where he is in this storyline that comes after this movie.
Might be a cliffhanger though.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying.
Infinity War, yeah.
Here's my big prediction. You don't see Paul Rudd except maybe in flashbacks in Infinity War.
Maybe.
Or So here's the thing. Because here's the thing. We know that Sharon Stone is in Ant-Man and Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Which suggests they're going to the quantum realm.
And they're going to find Janet Van Dyne.
They're going to rescue Janet Van Dyne. But maybe the only way she can be rescued is if Paul Rudd stays behind.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we get to Ant-Man and Wasp, Wasp is there to fight and to be a hero, but she's also got this thing because, when they call Ant-Man, she shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, ooh, without Ant-Man, she doesn't want to talk about it. And maybe in the end she says, and then we get something at the end of Avengers Infinity War that suggests that, and this is the thing, that what's coming out of that image on the poster is correct. That is Ant-Man on the stone. It's because he's finding a way out of the stone. Because he's finding his own way out of the quantum realm. And the only way to do that is with the stones.
Unless, working on your theory, unless they leave him in there for a while and eventually, I don't know, next year or whenever they bring him out, he comes out of the microverse with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, like I said, I don't think... Here's my thing with the Fantastic Four. I don't think bringing the Fantastic Four out anytime... Honestly, here's my honest feeling is, I do think a lot of the MCU is going to be ended after Avengers 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there may be stuff that carries on, and that there's going to be ties back to it, but it's going to be this sliding time comic book situation,
mm-hmm.
where they're going to basically be rebooting the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the same way they reboot the regular Marvel Universe every so often with this sliding time concept. And so you're going to have this, and basically they're setting themselves up that after Avengers 4, they're going to give themselves some breathing room.
Well,
because not for nothing, what's on the docket after Avengers 4? We've got Captain Marvel, which goes back into the past.
Let me look. But no, I was if they do time travel in Infinity War, and then like maybe after Avengers 4, can they pull like a flashpoint and say, Thanos or someone says your world?
Okay, quit trying to put those awful DC ideas into the Marvel.
Sorry, I'm just saying they alter the timeline in some way. So if eventually they do want to introduce the Fantastic Four and X-Men and act like they've always been there, it's because the timeline's been altered or something.
I mean, they could, but more. Here's what I'm going to say. First off, Flashpoint doesn't fix anything. If there was one thing that was actually the point of Flashpoint, was that it didn't actually fix anything. He saved his mother, and the entire universe got schmeckled as a result of it.
Well, I mean, unless it's like you either do this or the universe is destroyed.
Well, the universe was just fine before Barry decided to save his mom.
Well, I'm saying in the MCU, if they pull a Flashpoint because there's
was Barry's mom named Martha by any chance?
No, Nora.
Nora, okay.
Oh, okay. Here's here's the list. Avengers Infinity War, April 27th. Ant-Man and the Wasp, July 6th. Captain Marvel, March 8th of next year.
Oh, it comes before the fourth one.
Yeah. Avengers 4, May 3rd next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spider-Man Homecoming 2 is next July.
Okay.
And it just has Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in 2020.
Okay, so you're seeing there's basically 2 movies after this.
Yeah.
Both of which can be very easily separated from the rest of the Marvel Universe, so that when you get back to it, and of course Captain Marvel will going into the past.
Yeah, in the 90s, and then most of these people won't be around except for Sam Jackson and Phil Coulson.
We'll always have Phil Coulson. That lovely LMD.
Well, I don't remember if we ever discussed this. I just saw this today. Did you see who else they have cast for Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Peggy Carter, isn't she?
I don't know, but I saw somebody else. Okay. Lawrence Fishburne. Do you know who he's playing?
Lawrence Fishburne? Not off the top of my head, no. Maybe he's Egghead.
No, that I guess they're saying he's an old colleague of Hank Pym's, Bill Foster.
Oh, Bill Foster. Okay. Oh, good old Black Goliath.
We know you're black, and Goliath was a bad guy.
I know. We all heard the thing say that. But you know what? I think it'd be better if he is Black Goliath. And not for nothing, if they do him, especially if you're having Lawrence Fishburne play him, and then they do your flashbacks to, Black Goliath. Take that, Shaft. Oh, now then, but then this is this idea. So, okay, because here's this thing. Here's something they said that got me talking about how I really, really want my Rawhide Kid movie. Rawhide Kid and Mole Man and somebody else. I don't know. There we go. Rawhide Kid, Mole Man, and Ghost Rider defeat the original Skrull invasion back in 1842 or 1889.
Cowboys versus aliens.
No, but good. And here's the thing is, so once we've established, we start going back and looking at these past hero worlds, the fact that these superheroes have always been around. And honestly, the idea of recasting Mole Man as a hero, as sort of a Megalado Loveless, but sort of the, proto Doctor Doom kind of character who is, noble in his own right, but also just,
Well, I mean, that's how
going to be evil, much like Thanos.
That's how they do most villains these days. It's like not like back in the day when they're like, oh, this guy's evil for the sake of being evil. These days it's like this guy was a normal guy until the world, kicked him down, and look what the world did to him.
That's what Stan Lee. That is the Stan Lee beauty. That's all Stan Lee. He said, what makes someone a villain? Being short and ugly. That makes you a villain. But why does it make you a villain? Because when you're short and ugly, people treat you like crap, and that's why you decide to become a villain. Or you're a super intelligent guy who's been treated like crap your whole life, and so you become a villain. When you get that little scar, the one thing you had going for it was this perfect face, because that's how you make your livings. It's
too early, so it can't be. But I mean, and he's not ugly, but they could prosthetic him. But would you ever? What if they had made Dinklage the Mole Man?
I mean, Dinklage as the Mole Man is fine. Because you know what? It's not that the Mole Man is ugly. It's that the Mole Man has a lack of self-esteem.
Yes.
I mean, this is what Dorian has said before. Oh, by the way,
it can't be. But just imagine him in that OG outfit with the glasses and the green.
But the thing is, you could, not for nothing, anybody could play the Mole Man.
True.
I don't know if Dinklage would be a great Mole Man, especially if you do a fully redeemable Mole Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you do like my theory of Rawhide Kid and Mole Man versus the Skrull invasion, because Rawhide Kid and his cowboy friends say, we're fighting aliens. We need someone that can take on aliens. Who do we know? And they go, you know who we know? That freaking Mole Man guy that's always trying to take over the world.
He's got some monsters.
He's got monsters, and he's got super advanced tech. He is your classic steampunk villain, and he's the one guy we know. Look, we hate him, and he hates us. But you know what? We both want to live on this planet and not be ruled over by freaking Skrulls. And so that would be great. Unfortunately, they've already cast Dinklage in this film. So unless he's playing Mole Man in this film, we're not going to be able to get Dinklage.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think it could be, but that would have been awesome.
I actually always thought Vern Trainer would make
Vern Troyer, yeah.
Is it Troyer or Trainer? Because there's an N in there.
I think I heard Troy. I think it's Troyer, but
Troyer.
I thought
either way. Yeah, anyway, he was great as Napoleon in what was it called? The Legend. It was the other one with Bruce Campbell in it. It was the series with Bruce Campbell after Xena.
Yeah,
where it's like set in the Revolutionary War era.
Oh, and before I forget, as a public service announcement to everybody, since I think I'll put this up on Monday. So if you're listening to this on the podcast starting tonight, but yeah, April 23rd, all next week, April 23rd through I guess Friday, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I guess he's gonna have people from Avengers Infinity War actors like all week. There's gonna be like 19 total actors he's gonna talk to, so I don't know how they're gonna like group them each night, but I guess yeah, every night this week leading up to Infinity War.
It's great when one company owns your television network and your movie production studio and soon so much more. And this is why AT&T has to buy wait a minute. Well, wait, that's Time Warner AOL is trying to AT&T is trying to buy right now, right?
Wait, who's trying to buy?
AT&T. They're buying Time Warner because that's who owns HBO.
I don't know.
Because that's who owns CNN. I believe it is Time Warner. It's AOL.
Yeah. Hold on. It is coming up in AT&T or
yeah, it's AT&T Time Warner. I believe that's the merger.
I'm seeing. I don't know if it's a done deal yet, but yeah, it looks like they are at least attempting to
yeah, they're trying to buy, and Donald Trump wants to end it because Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I'm going to warn you right now. Do not fight this deal. This is DC's one chance to take on Marvel. You will lose the entire DC voting block if you try to stop this. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, so I just realized that basically DC is going to be wound up, tied into the AT&T Time Warner juggernaut, which I am now a member of because I'm on AT&T DirecTV now.
Oh, Charlie Esser.
What?
I guess one of the big guys in charge of this merger is saying they wanted to do this because AT&T wants to launch or expects to launch an online streaming service in the coming weeks called AT&T Watch. Priced at $15 a month, the new app will provide live television content but without sports programming. It is designed to be a cheaper, slimmed-down version of AT&T's DirecTV Now app.
I'm already paying for DirecTV Now. Okay,
yeah, but so I don't know if it would be cheaper because it's saying it's a slimmed-down version of it.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah. Look, I don't watch any sports shows anyway.
And I know. And not that anyone else.
I don't even watch wrestling anymore. That's like the closest to... I haven't watched wrestling in like 30 years. Now I watch wrestling documentaries. Okay, that's how you know you're old. When you stop watching wrestling, you start watching wrestling documentaries. Like, oh, yes, I remember Bruno Sammartino.
My dad's 61. He still watches wrestling.
Yeah. But, the kids today, wrestlers, they're not. I'm sorry.
Don't fake now.
Well, it was always fake, but at least before it
was a joke.
Unbelievable.
It's a joke.
It's okay, Phil. Anyway, yeah. So, okay. I mean, here's the thing. I'm already locked in with AT&T for the next 2 years. Whatever they want to launch, if they want to tell me stop doing your DirecTV Now and go to the AT&T app, like, fine. Are you going to finally have Me TV on there? Then it's fine by me. You know? That's my biggest complaint. Will you have the Channel 11 on there? Like the two channels I don't get, Me TV and Channel 11. Me TV I can get with my antenna. Channel 11 is super snickerty.
You said 11's your CW?
That's my CW, sorry. Yes, Me TV and CW are the two channels I can't get right now. I can get Me TV when I turn off the Wi-Fi and I go to the regular TV. Right. I can actually get a bunch of other channels that way because there's a bunch of other digital channels that you don't even get most of the times on your cable packages. Or at least you probably do, but they're all hidden somewhere. But, there's like kids' cartoon channels and weird, like a bunch of any old syndicated TV channel. It's there. It's like, so it's like right now it's like we're watching all these old Drew Carey reruns because they just loop them. It's pretty cool. I like Drew Carey. He was fun. So if AT&T buys Time Warner and they start AT&T Watch and then I get rid of I'm going to feel bad for DirecTV because it kind of felt like the DirecTV is AT&T's Netflix. You know, they didn't want a deal, and now they're going to get left behind. Because I'm sorry, this whole Wi-Fi TV thing, that's a thing. That's like that's the future. It's like I've realized that. I was like, oh, phone, internet, Wi-Fi. Okay, this is better than anything I've ever had before.
Especially as they're making more and more digital platforms. Yeah.
Exactly, and not for nothing. You know, I don't know. It just seems better. I mean, I haven't had it through a really bad storm yet, but even in a bad storm, I think my cell phone works even in a bad storm. You know, and in a bad storm, cable goes out all the time.
Yeah.
So
cable, dish, they always have problems in storms. Yeah,
everything has a problem in a storm. Storms are bad.
Well, anything Wi-Fi. Well, yeah, if lines come down, everything's gonna have trouble. But I mean, just like if you just have, you know, Wi-Fi seems to do better than anything else.
And not for nothing, you know. The only thing that handles the rain is Postman. But you know what's not in the Postman's credo there?
What?
Snow.
No.
Snow stops everything. No, nobody works in this when it snows. It's snowing, man. Just stop. No.
Speaking of Mother Nature, stop it already.
Are you getting snow there right now?
No. It's actually warming up now, but no, like last weekend it was like 80 degrees, and then Tuesday it snowed.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you live in the mountains of Pennsylvania. Now, granted, you're in the lower mountains, but I think they're still higher than the mountains here in New Jersey.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
New York's doing fine, but it's underneath the water, actually, at this
point.
Well,
I mean, we're going up now. I think it's supposed to be like 50s and 60s this week.
Well, yeah, because it is almost summer, Phil.
I hope so, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Stop it with the snow already. It's been spring for like, what, a month now?
But you know what? You need that snowpack so that you don't have a drought.
And now this summer watch, it'll be like 96 every day.
Well, yeah, exactly, Phil. I mean, you know, you complain now, you're just going to get it later. That's all I'm going to say.
I like the heat rather than the cold.
Yeah, unless you don't have water, Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Well, I'm not in the desert, Charlie. Remember, I'm in the mountains.
You live in you know, the difference between a desert and the mountains isn't the water; it's the height.
Well,
there are a lot of very high deserts.
I have indoor plumbing. I have bottled water.
Yes, because you live in the first world. But you know, you don't know all those aquifers. Nestle's going to buy them all up out from under you. And you gotta pay through the nose for that water, Phil. That's why I drink beer.
Apple juice.
I'm sorry, that's why I drink so much apple juice. It's so good. Okay. Oh, one other big disappointment I wanted to talk about. Fantastic Four is coming back. And I'm already disappointed, Phil, because I had my wonderful fan theory that it's not actually Reed and Sue coming back; it's Bentley and Val coming back.
Yeah, but
and then you gave me a whole. See, here's Reed Richards with now his beard has gray. It's like,
well, it's like all
beard has gray. That doesn't mean he's that much older. The guy already had gray.
Well, that's what I was like. You know, is he coming back older, or is that just like it was a cover? So is that just a variant cover, like a variant cover theme, or is
well, it's him with a beard, and
and then they showed that new. You know, remember the picture we got before, the four of them walking out, but now they look like, you know. Yeah. Val and Franklin maybe, but they look. Everyone's like, oh, they look taller. Are they old? Are those?
Well, they're definitely tall. They're like preteens now, you know. Which is, I mean, sure, whatever.
So thanks to all.
But like I said, if you're gonna do that, my statement is that no, that's not Franklin and Val. That's Val and Bentley, and then their two kids.
Oh,
that's my statement on that. It's Val and Bentley coming back. Because not for nothing, Franklin is a freaking beyonder. Okay? Franklin is so much... In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Franklin is the Beyonders.
Franklin's not a Beyonder. Franklin Richards chews up Beyonders and poops out Peter Dinklage. Come on.
Entirely possible. Oh, see that's you really want you said you just have him come in an episode. My name's Franklin. just have one who is, I'm Franklin. I'm Franklin.
It won't happen, but I wonder if they could do that if they're like, if as long as they didn't mention his last name, if he could just say, I'm Franklin until the deal goes through.
Yeah, I'm just Franklin. Just call me Franklin. Yeah, I'm real smart. Yeah, you know. But you just have him do like kind of a Rain Man-y thing with it, like, you know, like, oh yeah, no. Because he's thinking, and he's always so afraid to think too hard. He says, well, you know, when I think too hard, things happen. I try not to think too hard.
My dad says not to think too hard.
Yeah,
winks at the camera.
There we go. There you go, Marvel. Peter Dinklage is Franklin Richards.
It's like, my dad says not to think too hard, and he's like, he tells me these stories, you know, don't turn your back on the fox. Or some childhood story about the fox. Going to
That's too on the nose. That's too fourth wall-y. That's for those Deadpool people. And over at Deadpool, we have Pete. Pete's our newest member of Deadpool.
So is he like? Is this like a? I don't know, another character, but they're not doing the big reveal yet, or is this just like a version of Hydra Bob?
Yeah, I've heard the Hydra Bob. I don't know. I guarantee you that character is a gag character that dies within 5 minutes, or they go full fourth wall breaky. And he makes the point. Oh, they go all Gwenpool on our butts, and he says, "No, we keep Pete around." And it's like, why do we keep Pete around? He says, "Look at that guy. He's pathetic, but he's an everyman. Every person in the audience is rooting for him. Plus, that guy wins every adventure we go on." And he is the hero.
Plus, his name is Peter, so Deadpool can make at least one or two genitalia jokes too.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you know, they actually said a lot of the jokes we see in those trailers aren't going to wind up in the movie, which makes sense because they've done a lot of jokes for this because they're riffing all the time, and
they did do some reshoots, so some of that might have been stuff they took out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess what it is they've got a lot of jokes. Do they have a movie? Jokes are the easy parts. Believe it or not, DC, that's the easy part. You can be as funny as you want to be, but have a movie too.
You need a story, DC. You see people at Warner's like writing there.
Yeah, write that down. You know what, Warner's? We're giving Marvel all this stuff for free. You can come here, get our ideas for free, put it in DC films. It'll be good.
Tag me, Charlie Esser, Lilith Hellfire, DC. Warner's, we could put your movies on top.
We could. I'll work for DC. I got no pride at this point in my life, Phil.
I don't know who you have working over there, but we'll give you better ideas for less money. Come on.
Definitely less money.
We're not these highfalutin Hollywood writers. We'll do it for cheap.
Just let me cast Lou Ferrigno as Kal-El, or not as Jor-El. Sorry, Jor-El. Hey, they let Brando do it. 4 lines. That's all you get. But you know what? I could totally see Ferrigno as Jor-El. He'd be as good as Brando was.
Oh, I think they said Brando didn't even like memorize his lines. They just like hid like the script in the scenery. So he just like was like reading it off the wall.
Brando does not deserve the love he gets as an actor. I'm sorry. The guy had one character. The guy had one voice, maybe like 4 modulations for that voice. I'm not the biggest Brando fan. He was basically, you know what he was? Brando was handsome, and at the time when he became a star, handsome and sexy at the time, and at a time when people were writing good scripts. And he wandered in, and they said, "Ooh, let's." He's basically, if any modern actor, if Chris Evans, worked for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he's basically a guy. Except Chris Evans is actually down to earth and humble and knows where he came from, and Brando was just, kind of a narcissist. So, that's the difference between the two. Although he got very hurt when Conan O'Brien used to make fun of the fact that he was so fat. Really, Marlon Brando actually wrote to Conan O'Brien in the early days and says, "I didn't realize so many jokes were going to be about how fat I was." And he basically told, him to stop. He's hurting his feelings. And then, Conan O'Brien, because he's a decent guy, stopped making Marlon Brando fat jokes. Well, because I'm sure really, the guy knew he was fat.
Yeah.
And the guy knew it was one of these things where, he had let himself go and,
well, he was an
all that
man.
he wants. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You can be an old man and you can also let yourself go, Here's what I'll say. I've always been an ample American. I never looked as good as Brando did in his heyday. And there's that thing when you realize you kind of ruined yourself in that way, and so that's the sad story of Marlon Brando. It's a Shakespearean tragedy.
So, anything else?
I don't know. Volstagg is dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I've lost all hope at this point.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm still bitter about that.
Hey, remember, it's the MCU. It's better than the DCEU. Come on.
Well, they never even had Volstagg in the DCEU. I don't even know who the Volstagg of the DCU is.
I don't know if they have one.
Maybe that's their problem.
You need a fleshed out universe first. Come on.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking because I can think of 6 characters in the Marvel universe.
Well, that
can fill a Volstagg role.
That's the problem. They have characters, but they don't have I don't know if you really have except for maybe Wonder Woman. There's no character you can point at. It's that's the heart of the DCEU. There's
maybe you don't need a heart. Maybe you just need a pancreas. Maybe you need a liver of the DC universe. You need something that does stuff that keeps everything else running. Yes, you need the kidney. So for example, we've lost sadly Volstagg. You can throw in a Roman Nekabo, and that's a gregarious kind of chubby guy to keep your story. Actually, you know what? They do have a Volstagg of the DC universe, although I think they've killed him ruined his character into numerous reboots. What's his name? Snaps Carter or Snaps? He was in the Teen Titans. Snapper Carr. Yeah. Snapper Carr. There you go. You need a gregarious Jughead, DC.
If it's Snapper Carr you're talking about, he was more like the Rick Jones of the DC universe.
Gregarious Wanderer. Yeah, but you need a guy that can be that. You know who DC needs? They need Wendy and Marvin. They need to bring back Wendy and Marvin.
They need to have some fun movies.
They need to have. Well, it's like this. It's not like any of these movies didn't have depth and sorrow in them.
I mean,
but you need to have people that understand that. Hey, you know what? Let's just laugh.
Infinity War. People are going to die, and they're probably still going to have more jokes than any DCEU movie.
No, actually, the Russo brothers specifically said, "Don't worry, it's not going to be as somber. That Infinity War won't be as somber as Civil War."
That's what I'm saying. It might be. You're going to be like a universal battle, and it's still going to be more lighthearted than any DCEU movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean because DC doesn't seem to understand that they're making movies about men and women in silly, gregarious outfits, flapping around and smacking each other to prove a point. Anyway, but that's why DC is always going to be second rate. They make money though. They make their money back. They didn't lose money on the project, so there you go. If that's your only goal, they didn't lose money. Just like Dick Tracy. It didn't technically lose money when you counted in the Chinese market.
True.
Actually, I like Dick Tracy. I thought it was actually a fantastic film. I just think they went over budget. That's always your biggest problem with making films, is you can have a good film, but if it goes over budget, it goes over budget. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter how good the film is. Cleopatra never made its money back, even though it was the highest grossing film ever in history. Because they built a freaking Sphinx for it.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, let's call it a night. Philip, how can people talk to you if they would like to?
If you would like to email me, especially if you want to do any interviews for the Capes and Lunatics, at nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. You can even follow Superconnectivity on Facebook, facebook.com/Superconnectivity Podcast, at SuperConnectPod on Twitter, and the voicemail for everything, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
Okay, and I just want to say, for any of you creatives who do want to work with us, do you understand? You can make requests. You can say, I only want Phil, or I only want Phil and Lilith, or just anyone but Charlie be there. You are allowed to do that. You don't have to talk to me just to talk on our show. We have things. If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to be there. But if I'm the thing that's keeping you from calling Philip now and saying, I want to be on your show, do you understand? I can step away for. I've not done. Most of the interviews have just been Phil, and he is a respectful and intelligent interviewer in a way that I could never be. So
if you have your choice, then tell me. I'll bow out. If you want Charlie Esser solo, if you want Charlie Esser and Maz, even come on,
we'll do it, man. Although Maz is always kind of. I'll be honest, he has a weird schedule, but
yeah.
But Lilith is always down to interview. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Paz once did, write to me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. People don't even remember when you used to have to say all one word in websites back in my day. And, of course, follow me on Twitter, which is also all one word, at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle for quality. Thank you for connecting with us, ladies and gentlemen. Please, super connect with us once again. Good night. Not too bad. I think we're like just under an hour, maybe an hour and a minute.
And remember, everyone, join us April 28th and 29th for our two Avengers Infinity War roundtables. Because if you're listening to this, I'm sure you like Avengers Infinity War.
Defenders Infinity War?
Avengers, I said.
Okay, I heard Defenders.
Maybe I mumbled it, but...
Well, I'd like to see the Defenders in the Infinity
War. And I believe Charlie Esser said he'll show up for both.
If you ask, yeah, I'll be there.
Because Lilith will not, because she... so DC.